think it's going to be more professional and more predictable. And I think that's good for China and good for America. There will be more coordination and more policy planning with U.S. allies, however, and so the U.S. will present maybe a more united front. Policies are going to be developed by experts, not by ideologues. It'll be more like President Abraham Lincoln's team of rivals doing intellectual battle in the marketplace and the crucible of ideas. Decisions are going to be based on evidence, not warped conspiracy theories. And there still might be some wolf warrior in the White House, but they and others are going to be required to support their positions with evidence and logic. They won't be able to mindlessly howl into the wind to please an alpha male.
Mr. Yang, coming to you, a Global Times article argued that the pending change in U.S. leadership won't actually change the overall direction of Washington's China policy. What do you think of that?
Well, basically, I agree with this assessment. However, I need to say there are indeed some unchanged elements in the policy direction because both the Republicans and the Democrats had regarded China as a major threat of the U.S. global leadership. On this term, I would say the assessment are really miscalculation. China has no any interest in intention to replace U.S. as the so-called new global leaders. China don't want to be led by any other country else. By the same token, China don't want to lead any other country else. So such a miscalculation in short term will guide both of the parties to regard China, to see China as a major threat. So strict direction by the new government won't change, but there are indeed something changed in terms of policy element. Say tactics. I think Biden will conduct different tactics along the same direction, deal with China. Say they will go through more balanced tactics dealing with China. On one hand, they will strengthen their strict competition with China, but on the other hand, they have to explore as large as possible areas to cooperate with China, because on many issues, without China's participation, any single country can solve the common challenges by themselves. So basically, policy direction unchanged, but tactics will some change.
Harvey, what do you think of Biden's position on China-U.S. trade? Is he likely to continue Trump's trade war?
Well, in some ways, Biden's position is like Trump's. The difference is that it may be America first, but I think it's in the context of, where possible, cooperation, bilaterally, regionally, and globally. Like, for example, with China on climate change and fighting pandemics, which are clearly linked to trade and economics. On other issues like intellectual property protection, we'll have strategic dialogues, as we did before Trump, based on problem solving and not based on polemics. And the trade talks will be more multinational and on the U.S. side in consultation with close allies. Also, hopefully, together, we can put the WTO back together from its damage caused by President Trump and update it for the 21st century. I believe there's a lot that we can work on that both deals with our national interest and is good for both countries, although it's going to be a difficult time. There's no question about that.
Well, another thorny issue is that of the pandemic. Now, Mr. Yang, our final question to you. Biden has accused Trump of being too soft on China over COVID-19. What signal is this sending? And are there ways that the two countries can actually cooperate on dealing with the pandemic?
Well, it seemed to me that all the words you mentioned will look like political rhetorical fight in the campaign game. It's hard to imagine how harder than Trump has had done against China about COVID-19 could be. So I think with the conclusion of the campaign, all the politicians will have to return to the reality. And the reality is the COVID-19 have attacked all through the globe without nations, regardless of what nations you are, regardless what ideologies you have, regardless of what regime you have. So all nations, all peoples are attacked by the COVID-19. So facing the reality, all countries, all responsible governments have to choose the cooperation rather than confrontation. So I believe and I hope the new American government will choose the right direction, choose the right path to explore the cooperative ways with China, so that both Chinese people and American people and the peoples all over the world can benefit from the united positions and the unified joint cooperation, so that we can deal with the COVID-19 threat.